Hello friends and welcome back to my channel. If this is your first time visiting, my name is Maria and welcome to Siempre Infinitos DIY. So this weekend is going to be my birthday weekend and I wanted to share with you how I made a box full of roses from foam clay. I'm going to be using 3 shades of pink and I'm also going to be using this styrofoam. It's a smooth styrofoam as a matter of fact. And I'm going to be leaving a list of all of the items that I'll be using in this video in the description box down below. But before I begin, I would like to welcome all of my new subscribers. Thank you so much for subscribing to my channel. If you're not following me on Facebook, go check that out. Every Thursdays I go live. As well, I like to show what I am working on my next video. So I hope to see you there. And with that being said, let's begin. The first thing I did was to roll out my clay. But first I made sure that it was well conditioned. And also I want to make sure that I do not roll my clay out too thin. So I'm going to be needing 6, so I'm going to be cutting 2 of each color. Once I have all 6, then I am going to line them up, making sure that each one is on top of the other. Once I have them all lined up, then I am going to roll them all together. Then I will be going in with my clay cutter. If you do not have one, you can just use a knife. That will be just fine. I choose to use a flexible clay cutter because the blade is thinner than the knife. So here you see me just laying one on top of the other. I chose to use 3 different shades of pink because I feel that since I'm just using black glitter foam for my box, I thought that maybe using 3 different shades of pink would have made the rose pop out a little bit more than if I would have just went with a solid color. I don't know if that's just me. I'm sure that if I would have just stayed with a plain color, it would have looked just as beautiful. But I thought of doing something different, you know. So here, as you can see, that I'm just going to use my flexible clay cutter and I'm just going to cut that in half. Once I have my rose cut in half, then I am going to, and just using my fingers, I'm going to wind up, I'm going to start spreading out the petals. I did reach over and grab my tool, but then just realized that it was easier to use my fingers. As you can see here, this is what happened, is squish it down, but that's fine because I'm going to use the palm of my hands and start shaping it back into a rose. Once I have all of my 12 roses done, then I am going to start making my box for my roses. So my inspiration for today's video actually came from a gift that was given to me a couple of years ago, and I love it so much that I have it next to my on my nightstand next to my bed. So I wanted to recreate that and have one for my craft room. Now the box comes with 12 roses. So I'm just going to place these roses to the side and make sure that they get dried. So here I have a glitter foam sheet, and this is going to make my box look even more beautiful. Here I have a smooth foam, and I just went ahead and measured it and then I glued it down. Now the box that I have with the flowers also came with a lid, and here I went ahead and cut out a piece of smooth foam that I had laying around, and also that's going to be my lid for my box. My idea was just to cover the sides and the top, but the more I started looking at it, I just went ahead and chose to cover the entire lid as well. I do want to apologize for the lighting. I'm not sure if it has anything to do with the matte because it's pink and it's a solid color. I'm hoping that that's not it, but if that is it, I do apologize about that. I did not realize that this was going on until after the video, so my apologies. I am going to be working on to see if I can fix it. But then again, I do apologize. I have no idea what's going on, so my apologies. Now I'm going to cover my lid and my box I made sure that the piece that I cut out for my lid was a little bit larger. Once I glued down my foam sheet, then I went in and trimmed off any extra excess. I'm going to be doing this to the box as well. Now that it's all glued down, I'm just going to go in and trim off any extra excess. Also, when I was arranging my flowers, I noticed that you could see the white foam, and even if with my roses on top, there would have still been a gap. So I chose to cover the top of my foam, and I chose to go with a pink color. When I was adding my foam, I also noticed that for whatever reason, I never noticed this before, but for whatever reason, the crazy glue was eating the foam, and I'll show you that in just a minute. I couldn't believe it. So I chose to grab my tacky glue and just stick with that. I have never noticed this before. I don't know if it's the type of glue that I was using. If this has happened to you, please let me know. But I know that from now on, I'm not going to use that glue when it comes to that particular glue when it comes to my foam. So here I have the box all set now, and there's the lid as well. I'm going to arrange my flowers. Once I arrange them, then I'm going to go in with my glue and I'm going to glue them down. So I am going to put them to the side. Here it is. This is how they look. All set. Now I feel like it needs a ribbon, and I am going to make a ribbon from also using my foam clay. I'm just going to place it to the side in a minute. I'm really loving it, how it's looking. So I don't know why, but I thought I am going to show you how I made the ribbon. I just didn't show you a closer look. I will show you one towards the end. I do apologize for that, but it's really easy how to make a ribbon. So here all I did was I used my ruler because it was the length that I was looking for, and this I wanted to make sure that when I was cutting it, it was going to be a straight cut and not be half of a cut or what have you. Once I had my strip here of my part of what's going to be the ribbon, I went ahead and smoothed out the edges, and then I had to glue this down to the box, and this is going to be part of the ribbon as well. This is going to be the tail, and I just also cut a strip off, and I used my knife to, well, not my knife, but one of my tools here, and I just did like I think they're called like a duck tail or something. And once I had I did that cut on each side of the strip, then I just folded that in half and as well used glue and placed it on the ribbon. Again, guys, I do apologize not showing you every time that when I would add the part of the ribbon to the piece. That I don't know why I wasn't showing that to you. I do apologize for that. So here I'm just trying to figure out, how I want it laying on there. So the way I made my bow was I cut a 8 by 3 inch long strip, and then I connected both of the ends together, placed it down carefully, making sure that I did not squeeze the entire bow, and then I squeezed it in the middle only, or in the center. Then I used a tool. If you don't have a tool, you can use a pen or a pencil, and then spread the bow on the each side apart so they can be a gap. Once I had that pulled apart, then I began to squeeze it down even more because I wanted to give it that puffy look to it. I also added a strip in the center to cover the middle, and that was it. So the more I was pressing down, the more on the bow itself, the more it was giving me that puffy look. I used glue and I attached it to my ribbon, and that was it. So, you know, it's not that hard to make one of these. And here is a closer look. What do you think? I am totally in love with the entire thing. I love how the glitter shines, and the roses, you know, that I'm so happy that I chose to do the three shades of pink. I'm really loving this, you know, and all to my inspiration. Well, my friends, we have come to the end of another video. Thank you so much for stopping by. And until the next video, stay safe, be kind. Bye.